thought I would complete this aspect of scroll buckling by just talking for a few minutes about external chandelier lighting. And as you know, if you perform scroll buckle, you need to learn how to be very good in the binocular indirect ophthalmoscopy. And if you assist enough, when you're assisting your seniors in doing, you probably cannot see very much because everything is through the indirect. Even looking at the side mirror is not a very good view. You don't get the feel of what is. Yeah. So there are limitations in terms of the technique of buckling. In terms of being able, of course, as we get older, I do all my buckles under the microscope, so everything can be recorded. So of course, in your young days, you do it without the microscope. You do it just naked eye. But certain steps of the surgery still entails binocular indirect ophthalmoscopy, so that you have to be very proficient at BIO in all sorts of positions. You need to twist and turn, move around the eye, so that depending on the nature of the retinal detachment. Yeah? So scroll buckling is a very dynamic operation. It's not sitting down in one place. Of course, when you are suturing, you sit down, but to actually look at the retina, you have to be quite mobile. You need to use your right hand, left hand. So it's a very technically very difficult. That's why the most important aspect is the visualization. So if your view is not there and you can't localize the break and you can't see, for sure that's the end of your surgery. You can't see correctly. So chandelier, external chandelier lighting, basically it is felt that, as you know, vitrectomy techniques are so advanced nowadays that there is a sort of a risk of a dying art of scroll buckling. But many of us who have been doing buckling for the last 30 years still prefer to buckle when appropriate. And but unfortunately, across the world, vitrectomy has overtaken scroll buckle as a matter of choice in RD repair, especially in the Western world and the US. In Asia, maybe not so much. Scroll buckle is still widely practiced, but also in danger of losing ground and even in Singapore, we are like 50-50 now, 50%. Of course, in the US, it's 90% vitrectomy. In Europe, almost 100% of vitrectomy. As I mentioned, the skill sets are very different between scroll buckle and primary and vitrectomy. Again, unfortunately, for the younger BIO surgeons, the BIO skills are decreasing. So for us, compared to our early pioneers who describe everything just using the BIO, even doing vitrectomy with BIO in the early days. So of course, BIO skills are very, very important at that point. But nowadays, because of advances in imaging, advances in all those nice photos that you can just take, you don't even need to examine the eye, right? Theoretically, but of course you shouldn't do that. So BIO skills among the younger, even the BIO fellows and BIO trainees are decreasing. But we still recognize that scroll buckle, as we mentioned, for all those specific indications of rhegmatogenous retinal detachment, is still a very useful technique to use. And of course, you consider the costs and complications, potential complications, as later we will hear, of vitrectomy. Sometimes buckle is a much preferred technique. So since the early 2012, 2013, various authors in Korea, in India, my good friend Manish Nagpal, he was supposed to be at this course, but unfortunately he cannot come. So I've asked him for his video, and I will just show you his technique of chandelier buckling. So basically, you use an external vitrectomy-like source, create a sclerotomy, one sclerotomy. Insert, and of course, looking through the wide-angle viewing system, you can basically localize externally, like as you were doing the buckle, looking for the So here is the light source is coming from the left side. You're using the cryo from the right, using on the right side, using that to examine and indent the retina and looking for the retinal break. And you can see there's a U-shaped retinal tear there. And then you can apply cryo directly under view of the binocular, through the microscope using the wide-angle viewing system. Then you place the buckle. This is his technique of draining. You're asking about draining. This is a direct needle drain. You can just, you're very sure about the location and place where you want to buckle, to drain. You can just drain it directly. And after that, you can see the retina has flattened and the indent. So you can actually, when you put in the light again, you can see the position of the indent. And then you tie it up. So the surgery can be completely visualized on the microscope through the viewing system, and you can record it as in this case. So this is another sort of a modification of a scleral buckling technique that may get more popular with time. Some people have tried it. Of course, it does involve a light source. You need to open up a vitrectomy light source. You need a wide field, non-contact, because you cannot be using a contact system because there's too much manipulation. So it's a non-contact wide-angle viewing. The technique, the steps are the same as in standard scleral buckling, but you use the chandelier fiber optic illumination, and then you depress with the cryo pencil and look for the break. Then you put the elements and drain, and then you can also inject gas or air and then close. So what are the advantages? I think it improves. Certainly the visualization is a lot better than if you have to look through the BIO microscope, indirect. Okay. So obviously if you can see better, you can be 100% sure where the tear is. You can localize it much better because of the diffuse illumination and the wide angle viewing. Improves localization and treatment with the cryotherapy. Of course, for fellows and residents, it's wonderful because for the first time, you are able to see, the fellow is able to see what's happening inside the eye in terms of the buckling steps. So overall benefits, potentially, probably faster surgery. You don't have to fiddle around, especially the view is clear. Less time is lost trying to localize using the PIO and the cryo, and then someone must hold the eye. Potentially less complications. And most importantly, it reduces neck and back problems for the vitreoretinal surgeon. Okay. There are some pearls. Usually, the chandelier to avoid damage, to reduce the risk of touching the natural lens. So for phakic eyes, you put it at 90 degrees. But for pseudophakic eyes, it's no problem. You can put it at 180. But for those who are very experienced, you can go 100, because 180 gives you better illumination from the opposite side. Some people advocate that when you're doing the buckling, you should plug up the sclerotomy to prevent the vitreous prolapse. You might need steps to reduce the intraocular pressure because before you indent, and then you always suture the sclerotomy that you use to put in the chandelier. Okay. All right. So I thought that was an interesting variation of buckling technique that is might be useful. Some people have tried it. If you have access to all this equipment, you can do that as well. Okay. All right. So now I'd like to call on Dr. Lee Man Wai, and he will talk to us on the opposite spectrum of using vitrectomy for autogenous retinal detachment. Dr. Lee.
Thank you very much, Dr. Hong. I think it's been my privilege to be included as part of this Isaso retinal course. I think it's very useful because as we all have been training in retinal surgery, I think a lot of it is hands-on obviously, but knowing a little bit about the principles, and I think there will be a lot of overlap between what has been mentioned by Dr.